So I'm here today with Stacy, and Stacy is with Bioclean, and I give a little disclaimer warning that I don't know what's going to come out of this. So just a heads up, if any little ones are listening, it might get graphic, probably not, but maybe.
I try to spell things out when my kids are around.
How many kids do you have?
I got 4 little ones with my current wife.
Okay.
With my ex-wife, we have 3 teenagers.
So total 7?
6, 7.
Nice. That's a handful.
Yeah. But half of them don't come anymore. So
No?
we got the main little ones right
The
now.
4?
Full time, yeah.
What are the ages?
7, 5, 5, and 0.
7, 5, 5, and 0.
Little baby. She's 8 months.
Oh,
Not 1 yet. Once she's 1, I can say 1.
okay. When you said 0, I thought somebody was pregnant.
No,
That's,
God, no. I'll never do that again.
no.
It was so great, but so terrible.
Where are you originally from?
Like in the United States. Where? Like, well, because people are like, "Are you from Europe?" I'm like, no. I know he looks so classy. No, my parents were Air Force, so I was born in Ohio, right, Patterson. So we were like East Coast when I was little, but then we went to California, and then
How long did you stay there in the East Coast?
I think I was like 8 or 9 when we went to California.
What brought you to California?
My parents, they went to El Segundo Air Force Base. They were both colonels.
Oh, okay.
Crazy.
Were you thinking about taking that path?
I was in the Coast Guard.
Were you?
Yes, but I was in an era of don't ask, don't tell, and somebody told, and so I got kicked off honorably. But yeah, then I went into nursing. Yeah, for like 2 minutes.
2 minutes?
Yeah, they real quick were like, "Oh, sorry, we don't allow the gays here."
Really?
Yeah, it was a thing.
Huh.
But I was like, I think that was in 2000. Yeah, I was like maybe 20. It was back before they fixed all that.
Okay.
Yeah, good times.
Did you enjoy living in California?
Oh, I love California. So cozy. The weather's so nice.
When did you leave California?
Like COVID 2020 with the rest of the California people that came to Nevada. Sorry, we ruined all your prices.
What brought you here?
Prices.
Prices.
Yeah, no, it was actually Autumn, my wife. She grew up here, and we were in California. And then when COVID shut down her salon, we took the twins were just born. She had just had the twins, so we got a 5th wheel, and we were just traveling around with the twins. Yeah, hanging out, doing a thing. And then we came here and stayed because we bought a house, and we were like, "Oh, this is so great! We can get this huge house for same prices, you know."
What stops did you make along the way?
We were like all up and down the coast of California. We went to Santa Barbara. We started in San Diego, so we kind of moved up, and then we went to Palm Springs.
What was it like growing up in California?
I mean, I was like 9 or 10, so I don't know. Was I grown already? Yeah, it was fine. I mean, I like the weather, and my parents lived in a very nice area of California, so we had like canyons and things to play in. So we were outside a lot doing that kind of stuff. So yeah, I mean, it was fine.
We had a similar journey. I grew up there too, so I just wanted to see kind of what your perspective of
Where were you?
here was. Los Angeles, San Fernando Valley.
Oh, okay. We were down in Palos Verdes, so like Southern California. And then when I met Autumn, we went to San Diego. So
San Diego's gorgeous.
love it. We kept a condo there, and my business
Really?
is mainly there.
Oh, in San Diego?
Yeah,
Okay.
that's where I started. So most of my business is in Southern California, and then I opened a branch here when we came here.
So you never closed the California branch?
No.
You just added when you came here?
Yes. Yeah. California is so busy. And it's busier than Nevada. You'd be surprised because everybody here is like cowboy. They're just throwing blood into the desert, no problem. But in California, they really care about the biohazard waste. So they are like, yes, please come clean it correctly, you know?
So what led you into the bio business?
So many things. Well, I owned a duplex in San Pedro, which was over by, Palos Verdes. And when those people, well, 2 things. I was a nurse, so I have my RN degree.
You skipped that part.
I know.
Yeah. Like when did you become a nurse and all that?
I went to Coast Guard, EMT, nurse. Yeah.
You started as an EMT?
When I left the Coast Guard, I was super grumpy because they kicked me out, and I wanted to be like, doing all this stuff. So I drove my anger into EMT course because there were some dudes in Coast Guard that told me literally, "Oh yeah, EMT is so hard, you'll never be able to do it. I just barely passed it." And I was like, really? So I went and did it immediately to prove them wrong. And then I went to nursing school. So I worked as an EMT through nursing school. And when I was a nurse, I got my duplex, right? And I had an evicted tenant who trashed the place, like smeared feces everywhere, cockroaches coming out of the cabinets, all the things. So I had some cleaning person come to help me after the eviction was done. And this lady walked in and looked around and was like, oh, no, no, no amount of money. No, I will not clean. And I was like, no amount of money, huh? So how much could I charge to clean this? So I did it myself with like a random guy from Craigslist. And I was like, okay, so there's something here because nobody will
That's
clean
what
this.
created the.
That was the start of the little light bulb.
Oh,
But I had other things. My first wife and I had a baby that passed. And when that baby passed, there was like a huge mess because we had the baby at home. And I was very distraught during that time because it was like a personal family member loss. And my friend came to help clean that up. And I thought, like, gosh, I'm a nurse. Blood does not bother me. Like, I can see the grossest things in the emergency room. But when it's like personal to you, it hurts more, right? And it's like traumatizing to clean up. So when I was putting together the cleanups of evictions and the fact that, like, what do people do in these scenarios if they don't have any training? Because I have training. I was putting together this idea like, okay, this could be something that I could help with because I'm a nurse. I do biohazard all the time in the hospital, cleaning up a biohazard in a home. So then I just wanted to look in the regulations, like how do you get this licensed and clean and like where do you drop the blood off and all these things. So once I figured all that out,
I didn't even think about all that.
there's a lot. There's so much in the background.
So it's not just throwing it in the trash.
You cannot. That is illegal. Many, many fines. Don't do that at home, kids. So yeah, when like if you think of a hospital, they have the red biohazard bins and then they have the regular trash, right? You have to separate out the regulated waste, non-regulated waste. So if you're in a home, you may not know and you're throwing away the blood, if it's like a cotton ball from your eyeball or, from like a nosebleed, of course, like they're probably not going to regulate. But if you have like a pretty big scene, a bloody mattress, you've got blood smear all over. And then if you're a certified company, obviously you're going to want to do that properly. So
This might be a stupid question.
nope, no stupid questions, just stupid people.
Living on a farm, if it's an animal, is there the same regulations? Or?
No, human blood is the pathogens that they care about. So animal blood, unless it's like significant, because we have done slaughterhouses, there's a whole other world out there of picking up slaughterhouse blood barrels. Okay, if they don't rinse it down, and then there's like bones, fat, like organs, and they're all in these barrels. That has to go somewhere and be processed appropriately. You can't just like toss that down the drain, right? So that's a whole other thing. So we've been called by slaughterhouses who are like, hey, our regular guy can't pick up the barrels. Can you come and get our stuff? And I'm like, what? So that's a different scenario. But like in your own like husbandry house and you've got, but like if you have a horse or a goat and the animal is going to be put down, it has to go to a specific place. So like here there's Apex and they'll take the horses out, they'll take the goats and they'll let the bodies decompose. Or you can have them cremated, which is expensive. And I think those are the two options.
That's what we've done. I have a whole collection, a shelf of
cremated horse remains.
This and that. I mean, but how did you become numb to all this? Was it started being an EMT? Is that kind of...
I don't know. I think I've always been a weird kid, because nothing really bothered me. And I always was very good in emergencies. Like someone would fall and break their leg while we're out playing. Like I can get that kid, where they need to be. Weird stuff would happen around me that just was like needing an emergency. Maybe I caused it. I don't know. But I would, be able to funnel the groups. Like you call 911, you come to me, let's do this. And even as a young kid. So I feel like maybe it just kind of was one of those innate.
You think you're born with that?
I don't know. Just like I could never play a violin, that's for sure. I'm definitely not talented with anything else.
I'm trying to work up to it. I mean, when we had baby goats and my wife was delivering them and she needed help with the towels, I was inside. I went away.
You're like, no.
Yeah. I mean, that's why I'm asking if it's something you...
Yeah, no, it doesn't bother me. I mean, the only thing that bothered me in the emergency room is if somebody had like their nails broken. I don't like...
Out of everything?
Yeah, I don't like that. Like somebody would stab something in their finger and their nail would be like ripped off or, like a degloving and their nail was involved. I don't know why that. It's like, okay. I would handle it, but it's like, I really don't want to look at your nail.
So the emergency room set you up to be able to...
Well, I think I already had it. Then I was the EMT and then I went to the emergency room.
And then this was the next step?
Yep, next step, get out of the hospital. And it's good because there are companies that do this. It's not like, totally unique to me, but the other companies, there's a couple of franchises, and the franchises sell to guys who are like police officers or firemen retiring, and they're like, "Hey, start this company, with pick it up. You have a marketing, uh, like basically a marketing in with the police, but the police they don't always say, "Oh, pick this company," because, they would be on the hook. Like they want to say like, "Okay, Google, this is what you need," right? So it's typically families that hire us, or like a property management company, or like a realtor that's dealing with a house that needs, remediation. But those franchises have these, police officer and firemen. Where I opened my own company. I didn't want anybody I can't deal with authority, but I didn't want anybody following me around. So I did it that way. And then I come from the hospital. So I have a lot of checklists and hospital protocols and things that I bring to the service because I'm a completely different background than like police.
So this is something that's open 24/7, right?
Yes, that's like I got my phone. I'm sitting I'm 5 minutes late, it's like everything. Yeah. I just texted my office and I was like, can you guys just forward the phones for 1 hour to you guys so I can
It's that crazy all the time.
yeah, it can be. And sometimes it's a busy day and there's a lot of calls.
California worse or Vegas?
California's worse. Yeah. I have a feeling that in Vegas, the casinos do their own thing behind the scenes. Cause I know there's a lot of deaths in the casinos, but they either have their people clean it up, probably not properly. And then, or they just are like,
What's, I guess, not cleaned up properly? What does that mean?
probably like the mattress just gets flipped over or like steam cleaned instead of like disposed of properly. Technically, like in a just easy scenario where somebody's like passed away and there's a lot of blood on the mattress, they might just pull the mattress out and throw it away, like maybe wrap it up and throw it away in a landfill. That would be like improper, but cheap, right? The correct way is like we cut out the bio, we manifest it as medical waste, we take the remainder that's not medical waste to a non-regular, like a landfill, then the biohazard portion goes there. But it's expensive to dispose of biohazard. So and you have to have proper licensing to transport it. So you can't just be like, hey, can you take this mattress Craigslist guy? Because if he gets caught with it in his car, the police are going to be like, okay, what? And then there's a code enforcement that comes and they write the big tickets because you're transporting medical waste without a manifest. Because it has to be cradle to grave. You have to have a hazardous waste manifest showing where did this generate from. It originated here, it went to here, and then it's incinerated. And they sign off. We took it. So our explanation to the clients is like, you want that manifest on record because if you're going to sell your house later
Right.
and you have to disclose something happened here, they're going to say, well, what was the remediation process? And you're going to be like, oh, I had some guy come and wipe everything down. And then they're like, okay, well, where did that go? I don't know.
So that's the tricky part is learning all these regulations and disclosures.
That's the big problem.
Compared to California to here where, I can speak on Vegas. Like, do you have to disclose if somebody died in the house, but only you do if the house caused it?
No, I think, well, in California, for sure, you disclose any death.
I can't speak on California. I'm not sure how they do it.
I was like, I know California.
But here, it's if the house caused it, then you have to disclose.
How can you prove if the house caused it? Like what you're saying, like if there was
if the house caused the person to.
So if it's just a natural death, you don't have to disclose somebody died.
No.
What about methamphetamines, fentanyl?
Methamphetamines, all that. I mean, that has to be disclosed.
Because we clean all that too. So
once it's cleaned,
then we have the clearance testing. You have to get it. So we do like the preliminary test to get baseline, clean it, and then we do clearance testing to get proof that it was remediated appropriately. And then you can provide that clearance testing to the selling agent, right?
Got it. So
buyer, I guess.
Is that taking out drywall, insulation?
Depends on the levels. And then it depends on the client. Because I've had some clients be like, no, and I'm like, okay, well, it's not going to clear, So yeah, and it's like you have to educate the clients, and everybody wants to be the cheapest, and that's the problem. They want the cheapest solution, but if you're dealing with a methamphetamine lab, this is not a cheap solution, right? And I've had now we've changed our contract a few times because I did have a client once that gave me their test results first, and they were like, "This is the result," and I'm like, "Okay, well, we usually use this company," and they're like, "No, because this is like that." So now I've learned, don't do that, because then when we cleaned based on those results, and that guy had only done like a couple areas never the garage, never the attic, never the, vents. And so we cleaned based on those. And then when our people came in and tested, they tested all the right areas and it was like insanely high. And I was like, well, this would only happen if it was in your HVAC system and you turn this air conditioning on and recontaminated the entire house. And they wouldn't hear what we were saying. They were basically like, you didn't do this right. And I said, no, it's impossible. So I had to show them like, well, okay, look, your initial test was only on this wall and so we're going by that. So we had a huge issue with that kind of stuff. Like if the client wants to save the money up front and do it their way. So now we turn down jobs where they, want to do it the cheapest. And where I'm like, do it the cheapest. Yeah. So we couldn't even we couldn't sign off on that one. I was like, I can't. We would have to literally, these levels are so high in this house, like the walls need to come down. And somehow they had fudged the original tests to be some like random spot, So you have to be careful because even with clearance testing, you got to look at the company that did it. And if it's like somebody affiliated with them, we use a third-party service because otherwise a conflict of interest. And that's the other problem with restoration companies. They come in like water damage, fire. Since they do repairs, they will take more walls down than necessary because then they do the repairs on the, yes, it's so crazy. So you have to be super careful. Like you're not what's the purpose of this wall? Why do you, these are all things that the customer doesn't understand. And it's too much for me to explain on the phone in like a 13-second.
So you probably don't want the person who's going to tear it up, test it, build it back. I mean,
yeah, if it's all, if it's all put together.
What about other things? Do they have to be tested afterwards to make sure
Yeah, so we do ATP testing for Biohazard. And then you can also use H2O2 like to kind of generally see if there's like bubbling or, if there's any stuff in the seams of the floor. Because that's another issue we'll run into with clients. I'm like, okay, this floor all needs to come up. And they're like, no, we're going to leave the floor. So then anything they decline, we have a whole like liability sheet where I'm like, I recommended floor, and we won't certify it. I said, I recommend floor removal. It's coming back positive that it's got biofluid underneath.
Is that because of the grooves of the floor?
Yeah, grooves, or just imagine blood and fluid in a body as being like 10 gallons of milk poured onto your floor. And where does that go? It doesn't just chill. It's going to go under the baseboards. It's going to get soaked up into your drywall, gets into these seams of the...
Would that be the same with tile? It doesn't matter what floor?
Tile grout absorbs in. Mm-hmm. And then if you have an older home that they don't seal around the tub appropriately, people die in the bathroom all the time, pass out on the toilet, fall down, all that blood goes around the toilet rim into the floor there, into the tile. You have to take all that tile out, People don't want to hear that. Oh, it's tile, it's hardwood, it should be fine.
Just clean it up?
Nope, it's under there.
So you can do it still, but you just can't certify it?
Well, I get into a job and then I find out what, we discover things as we go and we update the client. Hey, this is what we're discovering. Here's the photos. And a lot of the times insurance is going to cover this, invoice. So if it's an insurance project, the clients are more likely to accept the discovery and the moving forward. But sometimes,
But people get a bid on the stuff. They don't just call you, hire you to come do it and be...
We typically do. Yeah. I don't know what typically if it's an emergency, water damage, suicide, homicide, we'll come in. Just like, hey, come. But sometimes we do other things, attic cleanouts, crawl spaces, rodents, pigeons. So in that case, it's not as emergent. We don't need to come right that moment,
Yeah. So how is it like managing the business in both states?
I mean, it's interesting I don't know. It's a lot. There's a lot to do, but I don't know what is different, whether I would be there or here. If I'm there, I go to the office, but I'm still managing the team virtually from the office because I'm not on every single job site. And if I'm here, same thing, I'm managing virtually. But, we just have to set up really good systems with the teams on arrival, map, posting their arrival, all the photos. They check in with me every hour so I can see what's going on. And then if there's questions, then we got to tell the clients what's happening.
How did you know this is the right business for you?
I mean, it's pretty obvious. It's the best.
Yeah.
Yeah. I love being out of the hospital. And making my own schedule. It's more of a lifestyle business for me because I built it based on what I want to do, so I want to work from home most days. I can have the kids. I can take sales calls, do all that stuff. I can go to the office if I need to go to the office. Everything's set up. I can go to Mexico, do my, traveling. It's no problem. I don't feel as tied down. I'm very busy and I get a lot of calls, but I know there's some business owners that get so wrapped up in the day to day that they can't like live, and that's not what we wanted to do. The whole point was Autumn told me, my wife, she said, if you work one more Christmas in the hospital, I'm leaving you. And I was like, okay, I have to find a job that I don't have to work on Christmas, which I still kind of work on Christmas, but I don't have to go to the hospital. I'm not gone for 12 hours. There's no rotating holidays or, drama with.
How long did you work in the hospital?
I was a nurse since 2008. So from 2008 to 2017, I worked in the hospital. I quit that job, opened my company like in November, and then Story was born in February. So I had like 4 months of building because Autumn basically was like, if you do this half-time, you'll never do it. So you need to leave and just be broke for a couple months and figure it out.
I feel like that's with everything.
Yeah.
I always tell my agents, if you're going to do it part-time, you'll get part-time results.
Yeah, you can't do it. Yeah, it's like the same with like all the people on Facebook selling their shakes. They're like, oh, I'd do it this just on weekends. Well, yeah, you're never going to get like top
right.
Price,
So how was the ER as graphic as what you've had to deal with, or?
Well, it's a different graphic. It's fresh blood, squirting blood, and then gross stuff. I mean, I feel like the emergency rooms over time became less exciting because people were using them more as like a doctor's office. Once they got the universal health care, I don't remember what year that passed, but people were coming in like, oh, my elbow hurts, I have had arm pain for 5 years and like I finally can come in because I got insurance. So there was these, insane 12-hour waits, new people that would come in with a heart attack, that would be like the one big rush thing. And then everything else was like all this triage and moving people around. And we had to open a fast track area for like splinters and like Rocephin shots and, like influenza. It's like crazy. So I felt like it was very busy with no real movement. You didn't really feel like you were helping anyone, and everybody was complaining, and they always, and you're just like a cog in the wheel, and you're making really not a lot. Like when you look at the bigger picture of things, and I always was like, the CEO is really where you got to be,
Yeah.
like flip this around.
So you got there.
So I changed it up.
That CEO.
Like I got to leave. I got to be that. I got to get out of the cog.
How do you shut it down with everything going on? Like just exactly.
I'm like, no.
As a business owner, and I go 7 days a week. For me, it's hard to turn it off. So do you find a way where you can turn it off?
No, there's no off. Yeah. The only time I've ever turned it off is I went to like do some like meditation ceremonies or, some retreats, and I will give my phone away. But during that time, I really turned it off, and I was trying like meditating and things like that. But when it's ramped up, yeah, I don't really feel the need that I need to.
Yeah.
And if I felt that way, I would just be like, okay, I need a break,
I was hoping you'd give me like a different answer, because people ask me the same question, and I'm like, I go 7 days a week all day long, but I'm not going. This is what I love.
Yeah, I don't feel like it's the thing that burns me out is the management of the employees more than anything. I don't mind the sales calls. I don't mind, because like every call that comes in, like I'm like, okay, great. This is building. It's like it's a foundation. But the management of people, I was never great at, and I need a buffer. I treat them like my 5-year-olds, and they act like my 5-year-olds. So in my defense,
what's the buffer?
Like another person. I'm like, hey, you got to call these guys. This is crazy. I don't know what they're doing, today. And, they do the job really well. They're really nice to the clients. The clients love them. And I'm like, okay, that's the positive. But then on the flip side, I'm like, why is the van missing a headlight? And they're like, oh yeah, we ran into something. Or they're arguing about silly things, they're like children. This guy left this in the truck and he put my mask in paint and like, that's my mask and I don't understand. I think he did it on purpose. I'm like, okay, look guys, I talk to my kids this way. You guys get along, figure it out. I can't help you.
Is it hard to find people to do that kind of work?
Kind of. That's probably part of the issue. They're younger, and I do try to get people with restoration experience at least. So at minimum, they have demolition, tool experience. They know how to mark off walls. They can remove things, tiles. Because when I first hired people with no experience, the training on that costs so much time and energy because they wouldn't use the proper tools to pull up a tile. It would take them twice as long. It's just like me YouTubing how to pull. Trust me, you don't want me replacing your tile either. So I'm like, okay, we'll got to get some guys with that type of experience. It's very hard to find bio experience because the other companies, they're not as busy as us because they're franchises. So they're stuck in San Diego. If you know the graphic, there's like San Diego, Oceanside, Carlsbad, El Cajon. This is all considered San Diego. Well, there's a franchise in each one of these little districts. They can't take anything over in North Shore Side. We're taking it all the way up to Malibu. I go to Los Angeles, I go to Palm Springs, so that's how I can expand my, my client list because I can go anywhere. I can go to Vegas, I can go to Bakersfield if I really want to. If somebody calls me from Omaha, I could technically fly my guys over there if it was a big enough job, I don't want to because it's, but that's what the possibility. So they may pay their guys like a couple dollars more an extra, but that guy can only work 20 hours a week and he's only going to do 3 or 4 jobs. So even when I've gotten people from other companies, they cut a lot of corners. They do a lot of cheap stuff. They're like, oh, we just paint the mattress and throw it away. And that's how I know how the other companies are underbidding me because they don't use the same biohazard stuff. They throw it away or figure it out,
Yeah.
So
that makes sense. I mean, it costs money to do all that.
Well, yeah, but you got to do it right.
Yeah.
And there's no education. It's not like I'm a McDonald's and you're like, oh, yeah, that's where I want. It's not a brand name. So you suddenly have an emergency at your home. There's blood everywhere. You've never experienced this before. You don't go, I got to call Stacy at Bioclean. You're like, what the hell do I do? And then the police are like, yeah, you need a biohazard cleanup company. Now what? You Google, all these companies come up. It could be. And so if you're like, okay, I'm going to call 2 people. And that guy's like, okay, well, what did Stacy just tell you? And she was like, well, they told me a couple $1,000 for the mattress and like the bedroom. He's like, I'll do it for $500. Like, all right, great. Come on over.
Yeah.
Well, what is that guy going to, he's throwing that away in his friggin',
who knows?
Koozie. So
have you, I've heard this with police officers before where they, go through the academy, do everything, and then they're thrown into something that they weren't ready for and kind of just panic because you don't have that kind of training. Have you hired people and when they actually have to do it, like how do you know they can do it?
We have a lot of turnover at the technician level. At my office level, everybody's been with me a very long time. So we created a system for that, knowing that was coming because some of the business coaches I spoke with was like, oh, well, the turnover is the issue. You got to change the turnover, try to get longevity with the technicians. But I just know the industry and I know, yes, you get thrown into weird stuff and like people don't know how it's hot in the suits. The mask is hot. You can't breathe. And you're dragging a king mattress down 4 flights of stairs, sweating bullets in a suit. Yeah, not everybody's cut out for that. So we just have a system. I get them in, I do a quick slide orientation with them to get them up to speed with like our expectations. We'll go over the paperwork, then we set them up with a trainer.
Show them things that they could possibly see.
Yeah, we go through all the photos, but a lot of guys from restoration, they've probably been exposed to something.
Okay, so that if they have the experience, then
something, because they have to wear the suit in mold, they have to wear the mask in asbestos, so some of them have had that background at least. And then now we're just adding blood. Or we're adding like toilet cleaning or feces or hoarding or whatever. So, and some of those places like the restoration companies, they'll try to do bio. They call me and they're like, hey, I've got 10 bags of red stuff here. We're not supposed to transport it. What do we do? And I'm like, yeah, we'll come and get it, and then we charge them to pick it up.
Speaking of hoarding, seeing that in real estate, besides getting everything out that needs to be cleaned really well too, right?
Yeah. So, well, typically, but we've had all sorts of hoarding, scenarios. You could have a very clean hoarder that's all just like, Louis Vuitton shoes. That would be an amazing find. I'd be like, I will retire now. All of us for sale. Or you could run into typical, and the hoarding ones are complicated because you've got 2 paths. It's either somebody who wants help and that's great, but when they want help and they're living there, they typically don't have the funds to do it. And they don't have the resources to keep it that way. And then when you get in there, it's going to inevitably be more expensive than what you're thinking because every single box has a treasure, and that's a 20 minutes of going through the box and looking at the things and deciding. That's a whole nother thing. But if the person's passed away and the family's cleaning out the house, it's going to be a lot faster. We get in, we can like take everything out, leave the valuables, we can sort things for them and be like, yep, this is what you guys want. This is all trash and get it out quick,
When you look at real estate for yourself to purchase, are you looking at a real estate through a different eye?
Yeah, I mean, typically,
properties?
I mean, I know I can clean it, so that doesn't bother me at all.
Okay.
But I'm looking more at structural. Like, I care about the plumbing and the HVAC and all the things that are really going to cost me money that I can't do. In my next life, I want to know how to do electrical, plumbing, HVAC, and be an attorney all at the same time because these are all my most expensive endeavors. And I would do, yeah, even right now, Autumn is like, all right, I think you should go to get your LSAT and apply for law school. And I'm like, with what?
That's the next chapter.
With what minutes do we expect this is going to happen? So I looked into it, but yeah, it's pretty time consuming. So there's UNLV does a night school, so she thinks that I can do Bioclean in the day, get the kids to dance, volunteer at the booster,
Okay.
and then get to law school at night and be done within 4 years.
I think so. We just need to make it like 28-hour days
No, I
instead of
think I can do it.
24.
I just sleep less.
You have some great stories there. I just interviewed a good friend of mine who's a defense attorney, and he had some good stories too. I don't know if I get you guys together. Probably not over dinner because I don't think I can hold it down, but
You're that squeamish?
a little bit. I mean, my mom always said I should have been a lawyer or a doctor, and the doctor thing didn't work because I am a little squeamish.
You could do a state law. That's very boring, and there's no blood whatsoever in that
Okay.
anymore. The person's already passed.
I'm going to stick with real estate, even though she complains that I should have been, but she's okay.
I feel like
I take care of her.
lucrative.
She's fine.
Yeah, you're fine.
Yeah,
It's the same as an attorney or
it's not too bad. If hopefully they don't, but if somebody needs to get a hold of you, like how do they do that?
So you can Google the Bioclean Team is our company. I am also Stacy Houston, and I'm on every website. But yeah, you can look up the Bioclean Team Las Vegas, or you can look up the Bioclean Team Southern California. Both of those pop us up.
How often do you go back?
California every month. And my wife has a salon there. So we flip-flop. So she wants me to go to California, then law school in that month, and then watch the kids while she goes too. Yeah, so we both go. I'll go like 3 or 4 days to the office there. And then here, I try to go a couple days a week to the office here and like get those hours in. Because when the baby was born, I stayed home pretty much the whole time. And she also homeschools our million children. So there's a lot of activity around me. And for my sanity, I need to get to the office and be able to focus.
Yeah, I mean, I can imagine working from home. That's tough for me.
I feel like it's a double-edged sword because I don't want to leave the kids. I
Right.
feel like they're little once. They're never going to be little again. They're home. Yeah, you can't get it back. And I'm lucky that we can homeschool and I want to see them, but then they drive me absolutely insane because they're jumping off the couches and I'm like, go to school. And I'm like, but don't go to school. And then I'm like, I got to get to the office, but I really want to stay home. And the baby, this is our last baby. So I don't want to ever put her down and I want to make sure she knows me and I'm not like at the office all day.
Yeah, I want another baby. That's cool.
You want another baby?
I don't know. Yes, mine are grown.
I brought it out of him.
Mine are grown.
Yeah.
Mine are grown. Do you tell them don't jump off the couch? I can show you what happens if you miss.
They don't care.
Okay.
They don't care. And then, yeah, they hurt themselves. And then stories like, oh, now I can't dance. And I'm like, oh my gosh. I need to wrap her in bubble wrap until dance season when she's 20, it's like that tuition is.
Yeah. I think you'd make a good attorney, but do you think there's anything else you want to share with everybody or anything they should know about you?
Yeah, whenever if you have any questions about the jobs, I can cut one in. Do you want the grossest job I've ever done?
Oof, I don't know if we can handle that, but
Okay, close your ears.
can we make it like PG version of it or?
I'm not that graphic.
Okay.
I mean, let's see how squeamish we can get, Jack, actually. Can we make him throw up?
No, don't do that.
All right, this is what we're going to try. We're going to see how... No, I'm just kidding. The grossest...
I'll give you a sign when I go like this. That's all I can handle.
Just do like... Oh, yeah, I mean, I've had a couple really gross ones, but the ones that are the worst are the people that pass away, I feel like, on the second floor because they leak through. So I've had 2 that like come to mind as the worst ones, but one here in Vegas, He passed away, and he was extremely obese, and his mom was disabled, so she can't walk up and down the stairs. So
So this is the same house, not like
same house.
okay.
So I have two different stories, but this one is Vegas house. Mom's disabled downstairs, can't walk up and down the stairs. Starts to smell something. Hasn't seen her son in a couple weeks, and thinks that his toilet has gone out again because I guess they used to have issues where like the water would drain out and it would smell like sewage. So eventually somebody says like, hey, in the garage, there's something dripping down. So she's thinking it's sewage maybe. So they go to check. Somebody goes up. He's decomposing for weeks. And as like a larger person, that's a lot of body fat and fluids. So his entire room was like 3 or 4 inches.
Signal.
Plug your ears.
Oh my goodness.
And that was a lot of shoveling. And we had to take the floor up, cut the ceiling.
I was looking forward to lunch today, but that's.
Is that really that bad, or you're joking?
It's cool as long as I don't try to start picturing that. But
Think about a railroad.
has that ever happened in maybe like a condo or an apartment building where underneath that's how they find out?
This is how yes, I literally had one where a woman passed upstairs in the kitchen with her sink on. And so she fell and the sink overflowed and was flooding, decomposing people's soup all over that apartment. Now the person downstairs, it was a vacant apartment. They had just purchased it. So during escrow, nobody's checking in. So she gets the keys, she walks in, and soup water is
After the closing, like she
like walks in, the close is done. From the chandelier in the foyer, it's just soup water.
I'm gonna start doing walkthroughs like this, like 5 minutes before closing.
Yeah.
Just to make sure like everything is good.
Yeah, I don't know how this got, but it was her first condo. It's in Hollywood. She was like, okay, so then the complication there is it's in all the walls. So, and it goes out into the hallway. So the HOA is responsible for exterior wall hallway, and they don't want to clean it. And yep, owner's inside. Other people responsible for their floor. This lady's responsible for this bottom floor. And then we demo the kitchen out because it's a small condo. So the water touches every single wall. So the entire thing is down, and it's like a 1960s condo in Hollywood. So you've got that
to worry about asbestos at that point too. I mean, but
it's like, let's not say
okay, never mind.
Cut the asbestos. Yeah, so everything's great. But yeah, chicken wire in the walls, pulling everything out. And then we're knocking on this guy's door like, hey, and they're like, no, we don't want anything done because our kitchen's right here. So we don't want to demo our kitchen. So when you get that all done and cleaned and sealed up, like with lacquer sealant, not actual drywall yet, the new repair guys are going to have an issue because they're going to have to put insulation in to a wet wall. See what I'm saying? So like this wall's done, but these people don't want to do anything. So now you have a problem because their wall's mildewy. So you're either going to close up mold in the wall or they're going to have to get sued to remediate. And that's a whole, so this girl's like, okay, this is my brand new, like I'm moving out of my apartment, and then you have a mortgage. You can't.
Yeah, and you're paying while that's going on.
Yeah, I met an attorney that once told me like never do a condo, just don't buy condos. No offense to your real estate world, but I do have a condo, but HOAs like cause a lot of problems.
Oh, you just got us to lose 25% of our business. That's
sorry, buy a condo.
I'm just kidding.
Jack specifically.
No, honestly, condos are tough just to finance, period, because unless you're buying cash and you're doing financing, it has to be approved. The people have to be on time with their HOAs, no litigation. It's so difficult. And not even speaking about high-rise condos. That's a whole different animal. So
oh, yeah.
It's a tough purchase as it is, but you've been amazing today. No lunch for me. So if I need to lose weight,
this is actually
Ozempic craze. You should just start a hotline where people just call you.
You guys hungry?
Give some stories, and
you want to eat McDonald's? Well, let me show you.
No. We'll save that story for next time. But
oh yeah, I could tell you all about the restaurants we do. I was ruined. My favorite restaurant in San Diego. They called us, and I was like, oh, I love this place. And they're like, we have rodents everywhere. They're pooping on everything. And in the back, I was like, so never eat there again. And I'm so sad because I love that place. So yeah, and homeless people poop all the time in San Diego. All those cute restaurants that you see, we are constantly cleaning up homeless feces, poop, and needles from like all around before they open, and you're just like, oh, what a marvelous place to eat out on this patio, and you don't know that somebody just like defecated hepatitis B all over your, feet. So that's different in San Diego,
Keep you busy there.
Yeah, that's what we love. We love being busy. The more, the better. The more homeless, the better. No offense to the politics.
Yeah, well, good for your business, but
Bad for humanity.
bad for humanity. But thanks again for your time. I appreciate it.
Yeah.
Everybody knows how to get a hold of you. Hopefully they won't need to, but if they do need to, they know how.
Or
Because it's one of those
other stuff.
It's one of those things where like you never know until you need it. But when you say regular stuff, what do you mean?
Well, it's not necessarily just like a huge emergency, like somebody's passed away in your family and caused this big, turmoil. You could also just find out that you had a rodent infestation in your attic and you're like, oh, who do we call it? Because pest control, they don't know what they're doing. Trust me, do not let the pest control guy clean your attic. They are literally going to spray over it with some electrostatic fogger and leave the poop. Yeah, it's nasty. So just have a real cleaning hazmat person do it. Even if you got to spend a little extra, it's better all around. But either way, normal stuff like that. We do crawl spaces, attics. We do post-eviction cleanouts, things that aren't necessarily like this dramatic biohazard thing, but, anything, junk removal, nothing super small because we got a lot, we're really busy, but,
Right.
big cleanouts and stuff, we do all that.
Well, nice. Well,
HOAs use us, trash chute cleaning. Trash chute, clogged up, pull all that out, clean their trash chute rooms. Parking structures, we clean all the stairwells, people puke after leaving the bars, all that weird stuff.
So what happens in the attics once you clean out and all the insulation's gone? Then another company would come in and re-insulate everything.
Yeah. We do the same thing where we're just like, we don't want to do anything conflict of interest. So I don't take out insulation so that I can make more money to put it back in. I only take out what's affected, and then the attic people come back.
Yeah. There's rats in Vegas, believe it or not.
Rats from the Prince, right?
Yeah.
Isn't that the story? The palm trees came in with the rats.
It's
Got to Google it. Somebody's got to Google it.
Yeah. But we'll save the rest of the stories for next time. Thank you. Thank you so much for your time. It was awesome getting to know you. Thank you, Stacy.
Okay.